Good afternoon and welcome to Scrapbooking with a Twist. This is Carolyn and we are going to do, I don't know if we're calling it a hop or a challenge. I don't know for sure what we're calling it, but basically it's 30 cities in, or no, it's 15 cities in 30 days and it's called Around the World in 30 Days. And we have 15 countries actually, and we have to do some kind of challenge for each one of those countries. So today is going to be my first one, and I'm going to do the USA first. And what it says, we have a little really neat little thing that goes with each one of them. And it says, "Hello, welcome to the land of the free and home of the brave. Americans tend to do everything big, especially mealtime. So to earn your stamp for this country, scrap a page that includes food, and some kitchen utensils will be your finishing touch for this one." So we have like an embellishment challenge on each one, and then your picture has to be about a certain thing. So today I am going to scrap our picture, some pictures of us doing Passover meal back in April. We are not Jewish, I've told you that before, but we just study like those different ceremonies and festivals to teach the boys and then do them similar to what it said, just as a learning experience. And so that is what these, oh, my dog decided she wanted to help me. So that's what these pictures are about today. And my son-in-law fixed lamb chops, and it was awesome. And you had to cook them over the fire. And then, okay, you gotta go. And then we had, these were our, it calls for bitter herbs, and we had that. You can have cheeses, you can have anything that's readily available, but like you can't have leavened bread or anything that takes a long time to prepare. So as we get into this, I'll show you the pictures, and that's actually going to be my twist today, is just to explain it a little bit. I wanted to show you, I got this at Dollar Tree the other day. I have a big round one that has a lot of different slots in it that I use especially for card making, but this one I thought was really neat. I got two of them, and they're just the little, little kids food tray, but it worked out really good to put my things in, and I think that was a good $1.25 investment. So we're going to start out with, I want to start out with the top of this page. I'm using 49 in Market. This is 49 in Market, and it is the Nature Study by 49 in Market. I got this when I went to Scrapbook Convention, and I kind of been hoarding it, so I decided it was time to break it out. This is just from my stash, and it is just a cut file that I don't even know where it came from. And so I wanted to use that today. And then I'm going to, I've got to glue these, but I got to figure out just where they go. And then I'm going to use this because, and I'm going to kind of just give you a brief little thing on Passover here in a minute, but they were supposed to put the blood over their doorposts. And so this is something that I just had stuck in my stash. I think I made 2 or 3 of them to go on a layout one time and didn't use this one. And so I just stuck it in my drawer. I've already written just a tiny little bit of journaling there. It just says, "Celebrating Passover, Mark cooked lamb over the fire. We had herbs," it was our spinach, "and unleavened bread, and the boys threw out anything with the yeast in it." So that's just the little bit of journaling. And then I'm going to put this on here. I think that cut file is probably not very square. So I rarely ever do anything like this with my T-square. I'm kind of like Shannon. I just eyeball it, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, well, we'll try better next time. But that was kind of where I was headed with this. So I want to just kind of get this down straight, and then the rest of it we'll just eyeball. So I'm not even sure how I want to do this, but I'm going to set that off and see if I can, I want to move that up just a little. I've already done my journaling around where that went. So I think my best bet is to go ahead and put this journaling card down, because it has to be, it can't go off the edges, for example. And then I can work this around it where I, something like that. And then we will figure out how to get that title straight from there. I think I had better do some liquid glue on this. It's kind of flimsy. Whoa, that glue is coming out plentiful. Like I said, I don't even know where this came from. It very well may have been in some garage sale stuff that I got, but I kind of liked it for this, so we're using it. Okay. Let's see if I can get this flipped back over now and get it somewhere where it goes in that journaling. About like that, I think. Oops, don't go too far. And then we can get our title piece on there. Let's see if that's, I mean, once it's glued down, it's down. So crooked or not, that's how it's going to have to be. Okay, I'm going to put some stuff over that end of that. So let's just dump our little letters off. I think I wanted that on foam. I think I want that up on foam. So let's put a couple of foam squares behind that. I looked out a while ago and it was actually, I don't know that I would call it rain, but sprinkling hard. It's the first time my driveways even appeared to be moist in so long. We need, I was saying the other day, I'd like to get about 2 weeks of just soaking rain. Not too fast, just soaking rain. Our tanks are dried up. Our trees are dying. Old oak trees are dying. It's just pathetic here where we live. The drought has been so bad, and it was so bad last year and then again this year. So we're losing trees and it's bad. We haven't, no one has grass. I mean, our yards are just brown. Walking across, I was walking across my son's yard the other day and it sounded like you were just walking on potato chips. It's so dead. It's just sad. And he had beautiful grass. Oh, those are tough coming off. So let's get this across right here. Okay, I think that will work there. Then I don't believe we'll need that. I think we can just kind of eyeball everything from there. So let's go ahead and get, I better wait on that Passover because I've got some stuff. I'm going to put this, I'm pretending that is a hyssop with the blood that they put over the doorposts. And I think I had, this is the date. It's going to go right there too. I want that to show more. Maybe trim this a little bit. This is actually a little tree, but we're going to use it not as a tree. Kind of fill that in there a little bit. get it over a little ways like that. And then I've got, I don't know what I've got 2 or 3 things on here that have nothing whatsoever to do with Passover or anything, but they go good on the layout. So that's what we're using. So don't hold me to anything there. All right, let's get this photo down, and then we can build that little cluster up there. This is kind of heavy, so I'm put quite a bit of tape on the back of it. There we go. Look at that pretty food. Isn't that pretty? So it definitely meets the requirement of the food. Those were apples. That's our spinach, some cheese, some amazing like heirloom tomatoes. And then we had olive oil with some seasoning in it. And then I'll show you the other pictures here in just a minute. It was so good. So good. Okay, this hyssop needs to go. It's not a hyssop, but that's what I'm calling it because that's what they used. Something like that. I may put a little foam actually under that end of it. Let's see how that looks. I started to go ahead and color the bottom part of it green, but I liked the contrast, so I didn't. So I'm not going to push that down too hard, just in case we need to move it. And then I need to get this right in there. I may have to cut those apart to get them to fit the way I want them to. I want this little one closer to the big one. And I'm just going to use my glue because I'm going to cover up the bottom of it. I'm going to cover up the bottom of it so the glue won't show. That glue is coming out really very healthily. So I want that somewhere up in there. And then I want this little one beside it. There we go. I think that'll work. Hold that down just a second. And then I want, this is where I put the date. And now I'm sticky with glue. So I want that right up in there. And then I'm going to put that little bug on it like that, I think. They never go back just exactly the way you kind of had them laid out, you know. It never fails, but this is how it's going to be. It'll be fine. All right, so we'll just let that dry. And I think it should be fine with that liquid adhesive. If not, I'll go back with something a little stronger, but I think that will be good. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so that's that. We really need to get, I want to kind of get this on there where I think it's going to go. And then I will build this other, I want another little cluster over here. Get my A. I almost put that A on there backwards. When I dump these off, they went every which way. Well, this is not my normal jewel picker. My fingers are sticky. I don't like that jewel picker. It's got to go. Get my good one. Okay, make sure I spell this right. I had one here a while back that one of my viewers said, I think you misspelled a word. I had to go back and fix that, which is nothing new for me. I don't spell anyway. I always told you when I was teaching, I always told my students, you can have a doctoral degree and not be able to spell. So don't let anything stop you. I'm dyslexic. My son, my dad was, we didn't know what it was when my dad, you know, and even when I was in school, but my son, by the time he got to school, we knew what all that was. Actually, I was even special ed certified. So, but I don't spell well at all. The only good thing is I know I can't spell, and so I look it up. Sometimes even the simplest words. So that's going to be something like that. And then I had these things that I wanted to put over on this side. I have to put some foam tape under that. And I know they might not have had glass jars, but I liked the look of that jar. You know, you talk about when they were in the wilderness and they had to go out and gather the manna and everything. I want that jar under there, no matter what. So just to give me a layer under there. So I think that's okay. Get that. I think that I like that. So I'm going to get, I want to get this bottom one down, and then I definitely want foam under that, where because this is on foam, so this has got to be. Get some glue on the bottom of this, and I sure don't want ball to show because it's a ball jar, but so I'm tucking that way in under there. So I know they didn't have ball jars back then. Okay, now let's see what we get here. Something like that. And then I've got this, and I don't know if mushrooms would have been a part of their diet. Really, where they live, it's probably too dry for mushrooms. So, but they're part of this collection, and I liked it, and so we're using it. We are using it. All right, now let's see if we can get our Passover on there. I don't like that. That's too dark. These are those see-through acrylic pieces, and they're really neat, but you do have to have a certain background behind them for them to work. Because I kind of got this spread out a little more than what I wanted it. But it is what it is, as it is glued down. Okay. I want this somewhat centered. Like I said, I'm not going to get things out and measure and do. It's just going to be what it is. But I started to do the title in advance, and then I thought, well, it's kind of hard to know just exactly where I'm going to need it till I get those clusters down. Okay, this is kind of tedious. We have, I'm sure your kiddo, this is Labor Day weekend, and not, I don't know when you'll be seeing this, but it's Labor Day weekend, so the kids have school out tomorrow, so I have a grandson with me. The others went to Hurricane Harbor and Six Flags, but he didn't want to go, and I thought, oh, that'll be a good excuse for me to stay home, because they were trying to get me to go. I thought, I'll just stay home with him. The little one didn't want to go. There. I can't talk and think at the same time here. All right. Almost got this titled conquered, and then we will move on to other things. It's a new bottle of liquid adhesive, and it's coming out a little more generously than it normally does. Here's our last letter. I need some of those tweezers that you squeeze them to open instead of squeezing them to hold. I really want some of those. I just never have thought about it, or I didn't, I'm not thinking about them if I see them or whatever. Okay, so there's our title. We've got our journaling on there. We got those top clusters on there. Now then, we've got, you know me, I'm going to be picture heavy. I always am. It is about the pictures. So here are the pictures that are going down here. And those look kind of charred, but they weren't. They were amazing. But you cook them over a fire. So he cooked them, of course, on his grill, but they were amazing. So that's the pictures. And then I've got a little cluster that I want over here. The thing with the embellishment was that you had to get some utensils on there, and I just happened to have one of these left. I had a whole card of them, and I've used one or two like for cruises and some different things like that. So they're these really neat little knife. It's a fork, a knife, and a spoon. So I thought that would be perfect for the embellishment requirement. And I have this little in this 49 and Market. All of this is from 49 and Market. The jar, these, even the little, the card that I journaled on, everything except this cup file and my title, everything else is from 49 and Market, from that nature study collection. So I want this, right, something like that, I think. I'm going to put this middle one on foam, but I want those two, that one needs to come over just a little. That can move. That's pretty close. So this is kind of going to be what the layout is, and then I'm going to fix a cluster here. And then that's pretty much, I'm going to put a little bit here too. That's going to be pretty much it. So I want to take this one off. And these are not exactly the same size photos. So I'm going to, I'm just going to put some glue to stabilize that under there, and then actually that should be plenty to hold it. Hold that just a second. While I'm doing this, the twist is just going to be to tell you a little bit about Passover. If you're not Jewish, you probably may not know a whole lot about Passover. Most of us kind of remember the story of Moses. So let me just kind of briefly give you a little story about Passover for our twist today. If you remember, Moses went to Pharaoh and he told him that, to let his people go. And Pharaoh said, no, not going to do that. So God began to send the plagues on Egypt. And there were 10 of those plagues altogether. There were flies, and there were frogs, and there was darkness, and there were boils, and locusts, and just on and on and on and on with these plagues. And each time Pharaoh would say, oh, okay, they can go. And then he would change his mind. He would renege and say, no, they can't go. He would change his mind. So the last plague that Moses warned Pharaoh about was that the death angel would pass over Egypt, and anyone that did not have the blood of a lamb over their doorpost, the firstborn in that household would die. Animal, person, human, whatever, the firstborn would die. Well, of course, the Egyptians didn't believe in the God that Moses believed in, and they didn't believe that that would happen, even though he had told them about 9 plagues before that, and they had all happened. They didn't believe it. And so, sure enough, the Hebrews all slaughtered their lamb, ate their lamb that night, put blood over the doorpost, and the death angel passed by, and the firstborn, if you did not have that blood over your doorpost, the firstborn of that family died. And sure enough, Pharaoh's son died. And so he did let the people go. And then he changed his mind again, and we know the story about the Red Sea and all that. But so they were to prepare this meal, and it was to have it was lamb to be roasted over the fire. It was to be unleavened bread and bitter herbs, because the next 40 years was going to be pretty bitter. But anyway, that was the meal that they were supposed to do. And then God also said that they were to commemorate this occasion for the generations to come, once a year for the generations to come. And so they were to do it each year. And so as a result, Jewish families celebrate Passover. To this day, Jewish families celebrate Passover. Like I said, we're not Jewish. We just teach the boys, about those different things in the Bible. And so we celebrate it along with some other festivals and things like that. So anyway, that's what this is. And then, of course, the blood of that lamb correlates, of course, to the blood of Jesus. Jesus died on a wooden cross. They put the blood of a lamb on their wooden doorposts, and so that relates to Jesus, of course, as far as we're concerned. So, and that's how we teach our boys and kind of use that as a learning experience for them. So anyway, just to kind of bring you very briefly, that's a very, very brief, there's much, much, much more to it, but that's a very brief little go over of Passover. All right, I'm just kind of trying to see how I want to build this little cluster. This is where I'm going to try to put my utensils in that are required. We're going to get, basically you get a passport stamp when you complete your layout and do everything that you were required to do on the layout. I'm not sure I need that one there. You get a passport stamp, and then once you get your enough stamps, you're entered to win a really neat kit that Ginger has put together. This is all over on Ginger's Corner Facebook group. So if you're not a member of that, you need to go over to Ginger's Corner. Just look it up on Facebook and become a member. And you can participate in this, and it's a lot of fun to do the things that we do on there. We have embellishment swaps and all that kind of stuff, but lots of fun. So you might want to go over there and check it out, and you could even participate in this. Okay, so I've got to get this one. I got to decide how I want this and get it down. I really want the rest. I think that may be how I go. Again, this little one almost needs to be cut apart. Let's try this. Because these clear acrylic pieces, you just can't put them over everything. You need something fairly solid behind them, because they do show through. So that's, I'm going to try to get that little one where, whoa, come back here, where it shows. Hey, don't get glue all over everything there. Claudine, my clumsiness. There we go. Something I think a little more like that. Then we'll get this one in there. I'm sticking to everything again. And this one just says, see the details. And so just the details of our Passover meal. And get our utensils on there. And I'm not totally sure how I'm gonna try this liquid adhesive, and if this pops off, I've got something else that I can put this on there with. I just really didn't want to do foam or anything because they're already kind of thick. So I really believe this will hold it. If I let it dry good, I don't think it'll be a problem. Okay, and then I made this little sign. Also, this is one of the little things from 49th and Market, or 49 in Market. I get 45th, graphic 45, 49 in Market. I usually call one 49 that's supposed to be 45 and the other one, you know, backwards all the time. Basically, all I did on this is just write Exodus 11 and 12 because that's where the account of Passover is, where the 10th plague and how Passover was established. So that's just down there. And then I kind of think I want these kind of reminded me like maybe of the herbs, and you know, that you would eat things that you could just pick, that you didn't have to grow and prepare. So I thought I wanted to stick some of those in there. And I've got these mushrooms, but like I said, I just don't really think the mushrooms are, I don't know, that looks kind of neat though. So I'm for sure going to put these in right here. Oh my goodness, I forgot to cover their little faces, and we don't show them on Facebook, and I totally forgot to do that. I'm going to be in so much trouble. Not that any of them will ever see this, but, oh, that's not what I wanted. But I do try to honor that. So before I put the picture, post the picture on the group, I will cover their faces. In this picture, the boys are getting rid of the bread that's in their house because that was part of the requirement, to get rid of anything that had yeast, that was leavened. And so they're getting rid of all that. Cleaning house. I am going to stick this right in here. I just kind of liked it, so. I'm going to end up covering most of that one up, but I had this up in under here earlier, but I don't think we need it. I don't think we need it. I think that's okay. If anything, it might need to go right there where that gap kind of is. Yeah, I may do that. I wanted to cover that gap. I ended up with a little gap that I didn't have when I was kind of sort of thinking through this layout. And that isn't exactly what I would have put there if I'd been planning well, but anyway. Okay, I think that's how I'm going to leave it. I think that's going to be the finished product, and I think these are going to be fine. I'm not going to pick this up until, yeah, I think it's already stuck. All right, I will try to give you some close-ups. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, and hope you have a blessed day. Let's see if I can keep you from getting too much glare. It's hard for me with this lighting to get good lighting on these close-ups. But there's our, and there we go. I love this picture. I think that's so pretty with all those different things. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by.